Oyateni tanga choyang montane chutshayang gonzkiyens.
So we are going to begin now by continuing our teaching from just before.
Teni taring aso kongla shayo shangship ku semze atela teni charkin ni changore ni changna teni shangship ku semze gres.
So as we were just saying, in order to have bodhicitta, it's necessary that we fulfill two conditions.
Teni charkin tambodi kangre zena ngaso semchen chama la teni nyang tabani teni shamdang nyangji teki gondos.
And the first of these is that from the depths of our heart, we have loving kindness and compassion for all beings.
Teni ngaso semchen chama la zia gati semchen chama zia ti nangla semchen chama zena kariri zena ta pena miyang yore teni chokchak yang yore chama res.
So among all beings, this includes humans, animals, and indeed all sentient beings.
Teni mi nani chulugla tapa yunken tang teni chulugla tapa tsawane menkhir teni mo kangri yinang changmalan jamnim go goni teni shamdanya je go res.
And among humans, people with religious faith, people without religious faith, we need to have compassion and loving kindness to all human beings with equality.
Teni chulugla tapa yunken ka nala yina ngatsu nangchula tapa shinken yina nja teni nangchu mayim bi perna yishi ge chulug yina kashi ge chulug yina tele jambi chulug jamra mambondu oteso kangla tapa shinken korang tapa ngune korang kangjin ja boyen nanja kangtar korang muyin sarti teni chama la ngatsu shamdanya je jamnim go goni she go res.
And it doesn't matter whether someone is Buddhist or whether they have another religious faith, whether that be faith in Christianity or Islam or any one of a number of other religious traditions, so long as we are talking about people, humans, then we should have loving kindness and compassion for them equally.
Teni sham danyang jizya de ngatsu tambu ni soso jilla sham nyang jibe yakpo yongken teni gumada pe kombores.
In terms of loving kindness and compassion, people who have these qualities in their minds really well from the very outset are few.
Yina ngatsu sham nyang jizya de la jongder teni sheji yores jongder zinanda gum zinanda tonla chikpare teni sham nyang ji sawane menken zgena teni kale jongder chena.
However, through training or meditation, it is possible to transform a person from a state of having no compassion to a state where they have very strong compassion. So we all need to strive to cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our minds.
Teni penanga so bola teni samlo tamba yena teni tam tati nirkla yena rapore mi chama ga teni sem ganala ti tapate pe yagbonduze tata yena pe yagbonduze.
In terms of Tibet, even up until the present day, everyone has really good faith in their minds.
Teni ngarang rapo yena teni ngaso bokanala teni min jamra mombola teni thukres.
People like myself in Tibet, I come across people, all different kinds of people.
Teni mi yagbon rao, ringne yosan rao, tesola yang teni thukre, yang teni mi chik teni ringne mepan rao ta, yang chik partana chik teni pena chik ta kema jabjin rao, jabri gongkan rao ta teni chik mi, teni chik chobon mi dikchak rao siya, teni chik mala yang thukre, min jamra mongbola,
As for myself in Tibet, I meet all kinds of people, people with very high levels of education, people who don't have high levels of education, people who look as though they steal things and fight a lot, people who, look on the surface as if they're rather bad, people of all different levels and backgrounds I come across.
Teni partana teni namgini na chi kaja teni chi kemsern rao she denken da teni lega chi teni chi yabo mayan rao teni le denken ga teni man rao yina yang kantar korang jibcha teni jimmu chi ne teni khabda chena te khorang ka sem ko tang la ni ta pa men khen ta tin di le jim de ta so la yi chi tsa wa ne me ba tin di nga so bo ka na la pe kombo hale pa kombo re ze ta ta ina.
But even in cases where people, on the surface, they seem to speak in a strange way, or they're people who don't do good things, when you actually talk to these people in more detail, you find out that those who have no faith in karmic cause and effect and no faith at all are in fact very rare.
Teni tinji indi teni le jimri tan tapa chipo mare shamnyang jite yang teni ngasu mi gilla teni sem ko tangla kala kansam zunguni chani nduzi ta te ngaran so pena ngasu pol la chi re zeni chi topa japan ra te tsawani mare zite mi halipa ngasu pena ta namjin teni chi pa phama kha manin khen ra ta yana chi lama ta teni chi gomba da teni ki zena kha manin khen ra ta teni gum ra ina ta korang sem ko tangla teni tayona nguni korang le jimri la ichi na re teni tapai na re teni shamnyang chi ta tiso kala kansam me pa te pe kombo re zinga so bo kana la.
And not just faith in karmic cause and effect and faith in Buddhism, compassion is something that everyone to some extent also has in their minds. And in saying this, I'm not just praising Tibetans, I'm not just doing that. Even among people who are generally disobedient of their parents, don't listen to what lamas tell them in the monastery and all of these kinds of things, nevertheless, in the depths of their minds, in the depths of their hearts, they have faith in Buddhism, belief in karmic cause and effect, and also some degree of loving kindness and compassion.
Teni yena nga so shamdang nyar chi te tarom shanship ke sim tindis ke sala leb ko yor zena yo mares.
Of course, the compassion and loving kindness that I'm talking about has not yet arrived in the minds of most people at the level of bodhicitta.
Teni tarom ramba ma pu ra o tindi res.
So it's still a low level of loving kindness and compassion.
Teni pe jana kheran so ta pernandi chumchen ra o ta chawi thola te mambon thung yo chi pe jana nga so po kana la teni khangba jap te khangba mambo jap pikap se teni chigna ni shema mambo ling go yo re te chongba te so chigna ni shema lendi teni chi chimbo te so teni par zo char zo teni jedi teni tin na la mbu chung chung chinang ga mbu chung chung ta nya da te so pe hale pa mambo teni nima gogni teni tsini teni shenro go yo re teni di kaps ta nga so mangchok re te lama da japan ra o teni mare nga so mangchok te shirtang ga nga so mangchok so teni moja teni chiso kashi ga lamlan ro go sa teni na changma so so rangshi ga yong ne mixchi ga yang teni mbog go yo ma ko so rangshi ga yong ne teni mbu chung chung to so yar len te nya da to so sama yar len ne teni chinang la par lu ga ra o teni tarta yanda namkin ti tabur jind teni thongjindu te ko so sem ko tangla teni ji shamnyang ji teni nduze teni yo tak ra bo teni reze inang tarong nga so gum go re ma to ba de zamz ko shanship ko sem ko chat teni yang san thombola tarong te repchap ko ya mares.
All of you have no doubt seen on WeChat or online in social media cases of where because of the sand that is taken out of, that is drawn from water. In many places in Tibet, the water course changes its path or dries up, and so many insects and fish are left outside of the water under the hot sunlight and would otherwise die. And in many cases, there are among ordinary Tibetans, ordinary lay Tibetans, who travel up to 2 hours of their own accord, completely voluntarily, in order to rescue these small insects and fish and put them back into the water. So we can see from this that ordinary Tibetans, ordinary people, really in the depths of their heart do have loving kindness and compassion. However, this loving kindness and compassion is something that we need to further cultivate through meditation, otherwise it won't arrive at the level of bodhicitta.
Teni ina nga so teni karte te gomna However,
if we do train ourselves, we do meditate somewhat, then actually it is quite easy for us to grow bodhicitta in our mind streams. So it's extremely important that we do meditate on loving kindness and compassion for some time every day.
Teni sanji ge chu na la sanji rang ge teni sone sambi ma ba gersa jise te gersa jite ta phayun tsawa ni nga chu shan na shan ma shi wan ro teni samji ma che pa re sone teni ge samji ma che pa ge wa jise teni sanji rang ka son yo res.
In the teachings of the Buddha, the teachings that were directly given by the Buddha, there are 4 sources of inconceivable merit. That is, 4 things that generate merit that is so inconceivable it can barely be described.
Teni ti na la chikti kang re zina nga chu simchin sama la shamnyang je go ya teres.
And one of these is having loving kindness and compassion for all beings.
Teni shamnyang je go ya ji tisu pe thong thong pe na nga chu sekor debya ji sekor debya dendi ra o tisu tendi thong thong z na la teni shamnyang ji gomna ti tini gewa te yang ha lepa samji ma che pa tendi yen song dos.
And what it says is that even if for a very, very short period of time, an instant as brief as a click of a finger, if we can generate loving kindness and compassion for even a length of time as this, then the merit generated is inconceivable.
Teni shamnyang ji zia te nga chu se shimala ronan pe halepa kar chimbo tendi gewa tendi chimbo res.
And the merit generated, great merit generated by loving kindness and compassion is very important for future lives.
Teni tsin de la samlo tanan zambolang ge shusok te be nyokta chi tartan ro yo res.
And in terms of this life, our society is becoming increasingly more troublesome and problematic.
Teni ti kaps teni nga chu shamnyang ji te pe rentang chimbo res.
So in a time like this, loving kindness and compassion are of great value.
Teni nga chu shikib la samlo tana mi ger la samlo tana che shima la samlo tana chen din nga chu tartin chwa la samlo tana gang shone samlo tana shamnyang ji zia te pe goya tin zrendus.
So whether or not we are thinking in general terms or in personal terms or in terms of the next life or this life, regardless of what aspect we think in terms of, loving kindness and compassion are really needed.
Teni shamnyang ji zia te ngone chane yakpo tin yo sona teni nga chu yang teni tharwa ga na ni tharwa chimbo shi tharwa halepa ga teni thartuk tharwa te de mareta yena nga chu teni tharwa yakpo shi thop korezi tharwa la nge kong do sha song tharwa la mangbo yo rezi teni nga chu sargi ga na la tharwa thamchin chim ba zia ten thartuk tharwa te ri teni te maim bi nga chu chuwa ga na la tharwa mangbo yo re teni nga chu shamnyang ji te yakpo yo sona teni nga chu rando ko teni rando la teni shong yi nyomong ba ta dengor ta teni mangbo ze teni mepa chagne te tharwa thom ro ndus.
Giving rise to strong loving kindness and compassion is a form of liberation. It might not be ultimate liberation, the liberation of achieving omniscience and Buddhahood. Nevertheless, it is a really significant liberation. As mentioned before, there are many different forms of liberation in our lives. And among these, loving kindness and compassion is a very significant form. On the strength of loving kindness and compassion, we're able to eliminate much of the suffering and affliction that we experience in our lives.
Teni ngaso bol la samlo tana pena teni ta teni lama so namjin teni chutu song de andao yana teni shikin teni pachak te teni ta pola mola to so sama ga sem ga la koran so la teni jarjan do wazi te yopi gimsenji pena ngaso gargi te so teni chikora jap chendra ta molum jawanda ta tindi je kapsanga so par nawa nyen de na te koso tini ha le pa molum yakbu jab kundu si nga so thakba chimbo molum tindi donyang dang dang ba pe mambo ha le pa yak thachut tindi jab shinkin tindi mambo nduzi gargi te so na la koran jigni tombo yo mari tindi ji yo mar ta yena koran chu to ne samba yakbo yo pa ta tindi kapshuk dawo yakbo samlo tansan dawo yakbo ha go nduzi mi mambo.
inside Tibet, the teachings of many lamas have great impact and influence, often on members of the older generation, such as grandmas and grandpas. These elderly practitioners, they might typically do their activities are doing kora and doing prayer. Nevertheless, despite their relatively low level of education, in terms of dharmic direction, they have a very good idea of what this is, and in terms of their Mahayana aspiration, they're really strong.
Tini tinga zo poko sacha gomba so tini gorsala tini roni tana hako re garge so tini nik zimne tini tharmo dongla zgne tini simchin thamche ka tondu zene tini pe ha lepa korang partana rang one tane korang sem tangni tini sam kandu sambanda wo tini jene te molum pe yapo yapgo yorese tini garge mampo molum tini jabeata toso yapo shingo yorese.
And one can see this by going around the gate of any Tibetan monastery. One can see old people with their eyes closed, their hands pressed together, really very sincerely from the bottom of their hearts, making prayers for the benefit of other beings. These prayers are something that many older people in Tibet do really well. Of course, it's not the case that everyone knows how to pray like this at all. So that's why it's important that we study, and especially that young people study. So just putting it in a nutshell, the first condition that we need for bodhicitta is this.
Teni nipate kangrezena ta shamnyangji te yoy kapsata ngarang semtane ta semchin thamche poteni dungmur mena sambadang teni semchin thamche poteni dewa yona sambate teni shamnyangji se gore teni te yendi ta ti samlo te yarte ching pherne teni jachin bondawo teni yoy kaps teni kandi samgdu sena ta ngarang molum japa chupo yongum mendu use te ngarang molum japna te yakpo re te na te chupo yongum mendu teni yenna ta semchin tamche teni dungmur meyadang teni semchin tamche dewa yongya teni ko tola ngarang leka te le gondo ma to ta ngarang sem ganane samlu teni samba zambo che molum japna yakpo te yakpo re te na te chupo yongum mendu ngarang te leka le gondo samne ta khayo layo ko leka te ngarang le gondo samne teni te samgare te rangshik teni samlo te semnala khor yong gore se ngaso shamnyar je te yargi sona teni khor gore teni shamnyangji te yargi masone shirtang shamnyangji ndawo teni chungchung zma to mena teni ti samba te yong thab ka mareze ta molum jamne ngaso ta simchen tamche dungar mena simchen tamche dewa yona samba dawo molum gyaya ma to teni ngada ngarang ka teni jegen samba dawo yong thab ka mareze shamnyangji yargi masona.
The second condition for bodhicitta, so once we have developed loving kindness and compassion to a relatively strong level, then this entails the wish that all beings be free from suffering and that they enjoy happiness. So when we've cultivated these wishes or qualities to a relative strong level, then the next step is a recognition that a prayer for this to take place or an aspiration, while good, is not in itself sufficient. So we then come to recognize or make a commitment to actually doing concrete action to help eliminate others' suffering and help bring about their happiness. When we grow our loving kindness and compassion to a relatively strong level, then this desire to do concrete action to help others comes automatically, it comes naturally. However, if our loving kindness and compassion is still at a relatively minimal level, then this next step of undertaking concrete action the thought won't emerge naturally. We need to then make a contrived prayer to do this.
어다 던지 제니 다 나랑 그때니 심진 담지 등을 매바당 대가 요야스 던지 레고운드 삼비 삼로도 요 차르티 던니 삼로 치타나 어다 나랑 따따 나랑 tin 니파데 문도 와세 나랑 심진 등을 매바 줘야다 대가 용야서 니파데 나랑 따따 문도 와세 teni nipa mena tang karache go re ziti ta ngarang sanji go ndu se ngarang sanji sona teni ngengone tane simjin mambola teni dungur meya tang teni dewa yoya te kayo la teni che thapkudu teni yindi tang ngarang yindamanda sanji go ndu samba te ha go ni teni kwarang semtak jenni ta nima terang ni zongte teni ngarang sanji ya go tondu teni ngarang ga gewa drupku yin samba rawo samlo te teni khor karesi ten khor wi kapsu teni nga su shangchib ko sem ngoma te teni ta nga su sem la kesong ares.
So in undertaking to engage in action to bring about the happiness of others and eliminate their suffering, we then come to realizing that as we presently are, we lack the capacity to really do this. So in order to achieve the capacity to be able to eliminate others' suffering and bring about their happiness, we realize that it is necessary for us to first achieve Buddhahood. And so because we see that if we achieve Buddhahood, we'll really have the capacity to rid people of suffering and help them enjoy happiness. So this then entails us making a strong resolution from this day onwards to accumulate merit for the purposes of achieving Buddhahood. And when this aspiration, when this commitment really comes about strongly in our minds, then we have achieved bodhicitta.
Tendri ta nga so tasti ne kabndela pena teni dawa mambo teni chamdeyanda da teni nima mambo la teni chamdeni teni gomjawanda da yana nima riri la teni tisun mambo nangla teni gomjawanda tendri te tarta khabores teni tes khabores.
In our present lives, it's quite difficult for us to spend many months in retreat doing meditation or to spend a lot of time every day on meditation practice too.
Teni tanga so karigo orizina tanga so chuchigu tola teni batsun shina tin yores te sanji sung yores chuchigu tola batsun shina tin yores.
So instead, what we really need is to be diligent in one practice. And in fact, this is, the Buddha said this, that it is okay to be diligent in just one practice. And what is this practice, or what should it be? It's the cultivation of bodhicitta.
어다 나랑 심진 탐실라 등을 매바다 심진 탐실 대화 토비하고 쳇드 띠돈드 다 나랑 인담만다 상지고 삼바고 삼로 때 요나 되니 디치부 마토 바자방아서 네급수체 마트브나 되니 디언 듣고요.
So if wherever we are, whenever it is, and regardless of whatever work or action that we are doing, if we keep in our mind the commitment or the aspiration to achieve Buddhahood for the sake of all beings, to eliminate their suffering and bring about their bring about their happiness, then if for the time being we're not able to do any other practices, this is fine. This in itself is sufficient.
Teni tinji nyamlin tetang ngaso teni soanika langarwa chichi menduze.
And this kind of practice brings no conflict with our everyday lives or activities at all.
Teni tinji nyamlin tetang ngaso namgin ka lekanika parla yangarwa chichi yamares.
There is no contradiction or conflict between this kind of practice and the things that we regularly do in our lives.
Teni perna ngaso ngamo teni yar nyasa nane teni tangbo yar sa yungwi kapsa nyasa nangla ndugni ta terang nyamandi nangla teni ngarang jitab gantab ko teni simjin tamje ko tonta ngarang sang geya ko teni ko gewa ta ngarang ko jitab gantab ko ngarang jubgwa sambanda teni she go ndus.
So what we need to do is every day when we, as soon as we wake up, sit in our beds and think to ourselves that on this day we will do our best to accumulate merit and do virtuous things for the sake of all beings.
Tani gongmo mar nyewi nekam na yang tani nye tsarwi gijisa tani samlo chutane ta terang nyamandela tani ngarang 심진 탐지 그 돈도 나랑 상계야 딘디 그 개와 대즈 접 은도 맨도 대 따고온도 그더니 심묵 딘디 따고온도
And then every night when we lie down, after we've lied down in our beds, we need to think about whether during the day we have done any virtuous thing that oriented towards achieving Buddhahood for the sake of all beings.
Tini tila ngamu karma nga, tini gomu karma nga, tini mato karma sumni nga rao, tini mato goyo maris, tisope tong mato go mendus.
In order to do this, all we need is 3 or 5 minutes in the morning or 3 or 5 minutes in the evening. We don't need much time. The time involved is very short.
Tini ngaso gomu marni wikaps tini ta ngaso nyamachi tini soalan jugdum gyabya. Tini soso rang tini ji gomshinda tini chaksona pe halipa tini pantoyores.
And if we cultivate the habit of kind of looking back over our day's events and, sort of summarizing what we've done, then this is, when we go to bed at night, this is really good.
Tini tindi chena ngaso nyima re tisub mambo chologlan royo pade ngaso lamsang saro ha kotab gandu shingandu shitab gandus.
And by doing this, we'll be able to see whether or not every day we allow a lot of time to be wasted.
Tini tindi machina ta ngarang so lotang dawa mambo ndrona yang tini cholog chena te ngarang so cholog shesong jawa sambi tini chorwan jawa zawane yung tabka mandus.
If we don't do this, then we might waste many days and years, but because we are not doing this, we'll not have any awareness that in fact we are wasting this time.
Tini sanji chumdende ga tini ngaso yang perna mo tindi pe jewa chimbo yung kentang tini lega chimbo yung kentang tisu kortela nyamnin cheya ga chupe tindi leslaboda ke yangbo tindi tapshi tindi songyores.
And the Shakyamuni Buddha taught very simple and accessible practices for people who are very busy and have a lot of work responsibilities.
Tini ti rang reze nga so jamba chuche matabna o ta ngarang yinda manda ngarang simjin tsangmala dungur mebadang tini dewa yopa tindi ngarang yinda manda te ngarang ka zur goze te ngarang ka leka yenze te ngarang ka drip goze yin ti chetze tini te yakbozu yongya ga chet tini ngarang yinda manda sanje go sambanrawo samno de ti tamjanrawo te nyamachi pola simnala mambo jan tab atamatab ta gore te jan tabna te nga so nyamlin ris te nyamlin ka nani nyamlin pekar cheshus ris.
And indeed, this practice is like this. If it is extremely important that during the course of the day we try to bring to our minds many times our vow or our commitment to work to eliminate the suffering of other beings and bring about their happiness, and that we bring to mind our a vow to achieve Buddhahood in order to accomplish this. And in fact, this is a really important form of practice. In fact, it's the most important practice.
Tani ti la nge tari kong de pena nga so nimjung ko samba yak po yong ya ge chet tani cheyu kang sang la mi jarlong da tani jeb dang de chimbo lamrum te ta go re lojong che go re jini kong de te changma la ji songa te dang ra po che ne ta nga so shamdang nyang je da shanchip ji sem yakbo de ni che ya la ta gari go re te pecha nga so yegi ta na nga so jong gari ta go re zina tani shansim shunjik la tani nga so ta go re shunjik nga so boyuk ta kindu tani boyuk na la ta shunjik njewa ja ram ta te japchak mambo tani yore nga so bo rang tani shepa japchak mambo yore tani nga so jagar ni mar tani gir yong wi tani shunjik njewa te tanjir ka na la nish nang yore nish ta chi na tani yo tani yore tani nga so bo ka lama so tani tripa ta japchak mambo yore boyuk na la tani mambo ndu tani gyai ka na la ta yore 인지 나라야 따탄두 어떤지 인디 소소 보육다나 야익다나 인지다나 강다나 조건도 든지 인디 슌직대 양보서 되는 가서 법정 제공도스.
Just before, earlier, I said that in order to generate compassion, we should learn from the words of my perfect teacher and Je Tsongkhapa's stages of the path. In just the same way, in order to learn about generating loving kindness and compassion and bodhicitta, the text that we should all be reading and learning from is the Way of the Bodhisattva. This exists in Tibetan. There are many commentaries on this text. There are hundreds of commentaries composed by Tibetan lamas and 20 or 21 commentaries that were translated into Tibetan Indian commentaries. Commentaries also exist in Chinese, they exist in English. Whichever language, it doesn't matter, but the Way of a Bodhisattva is the text that everybody should be reading.
Teni te nga tsu terang di lamtso ga ta nang ni teni nangtun nipa teri shangchip ji semres.
So among the three principal aspects of the path today, of the path, the second is bodhicitta.
Teni te yanchip teri te na tsik pe nyong re lamtso ga na tsik nyong re ta teni jigni teni ta de zhong de teni te zhong teni pe shinlup chimbo re teni nang la yinna halipa ga teni nangtun mambun di yore pe na nga tsu teni larong gar tawala teni samlo tangba yinna shirtang ka teni nga tsu nyang mari jamba la zhong de mambu yore ta zhong ni ti la pe halipa ga teni kar chimbo chwe yoze zhong chikti kang rezi na te gyasi laglin o te rezi zhong yang chong rezi chong mato yo marita te karche teni nipa de kang rezi na teni jib dani chimbo lamtsun de rezi teni nga aran tsu larong gar ke na teni ta mi tsangma ga ta goya mi tsangma ga lojong che goya teni ga nyamlin che goya teni ga pe halipa teni gar chimbo teni zi teni ta je go yore teni hama teni nga tsu lama yujin no jigo pikamni teni sombare nga tsu tarti barde yang teni ga teni sharji zena mendu luksor zena mendu te genkyang ni teni je go yore da pe gar chimbo re teni nga tsu mangchok yena ta jong mambu ta tna pe yakbo reze matna nga tsu gyasi laglenda teni langtsu on nga tsu tini te yakbo teni soso lojong yakbo che sem ga tola te samlo tang atam tana te pe yakbo renjo reze tinala tsama ndi yoreze.
So this text, the three principal aspects of the path, is a very short text. It's very concise, but it contains a lot of content and much blessing power. In terms of Larunga, Larunga is a Nyingma institution, and there are lots of different texts and treatises that people read. But among them all, there are two particular texts that are regarded as extremely important. And these are, firstly, the 37 practices of a bodhisattva, and secondly, the Way of a Bodhisattva. These two texts everybody reads, everybody studies, and they're regarded as extremely important. When Lama Wish-Fulfilling Jewel Khenpo Jimi Phuntsok was alive, he emphasized, he really said that it's important that the custom or the tradition of reading these texts, of studying these texts, should not be lost. And he also said that for people who are not able to do a lot of religious practices, then just these two texts, studying these two texts, the 37 practices and the Way of a Bodhisattva, studying about these, thinking about their content, and trying to practice some of what they say is enough, because everything essentially is contained within these texts.
Teni lamtsu namba samgo nani teni ta nangdun sambate re sambate tongba ni ki korla res.
So the third of the three principal aspects of the path concerns emptiness.
Teni tongba ni tsia te nga cho te yabo ji singona teni tangbo te nga ran cho timrir zia te ha ko go res.
So in order to gain a proper or good understanding of emptiness, first we need to understand dependent origination.
Teni timrir zia te la nga cho teni shi timrir da nang timrir zine timrir ni song yo res.
And in terms of dependent origination, we talk about two types, inner and outer.
Teni di tola nga cho pe da ta nga cho nang chu dang teni nasho ko teni chu ni kala pe khyapar chimbon rawo ta partasala pe khyapar chingbo yores.
And in terms of these two things, it seems that there is a very great difference between Buddhism and other Western traditions.
다 강타나 디 땅자 보더니 직시나 직이나 하고 말이지 내가 저 다른 하고 매 강타 파르타나 배 캬브르 침보선도 우스
Whether in actuality, at a deeper level, there is such a big difference, maybe it's difficult for the time being to say, but certainly on the surface it appears as if there's a big difference.
드니 템드르디야 데강레지 나가 저 배나 메토금 던자 볼라더니 삼로 땅나 드니 코랑 메토 코랑 깨야 같더니 겨 코랑 그 사운 대고요레스 드니 티토라 츠고요레스 티토라 쭈드고요레스 티토라 디수고요레스 티토라 다른 드니 파르통다오 파르통 드니 고요 데소 요 소나 드니 겨 데소라 드니 텐니 드니 메토금 던지 종거레스 텔레 잠바치 고 마레 대소 코랑라 고야가 제테소 상소나 드니 드니 그 메토즈 종거레스 텔라 틴르지아 틴리즈라 제고요레스.
So when we talk about cause and effect, what this essentially means is, say, a flower. In order for a flower to grow, it first needs the cause of a seed. And in addition to this, it also needs conditions such as moisture, warmth, time, and space. And when all of these causes and conditions are met, when they're satisfied, then the flower can grow. It doesn't need anything other than these things. So this is essentially what we mean with cause and effect.
드니 딘지 인디 드니 우포 강당강나 코랑 그 제텔라 텐니 드니 코랑 금 제베 템 종거레지 베나가서 메토 세본데 있나 너 코랑 그 제텔라 텐니 티 메토 든다 보템 종거레지 마토 코랑 그 제텔라 텐니 드니 데 마임 비티니 메토 잠반다고 어탄디나라 메토 잠반다만 딘진다고 코랑 종거 말인데 코랑 코랑라 젠드인데 코랑 코랑라 제요리 드니 니 적은 듣게 그 말이지 니 적은 대야 그 말데 코랑 소소 그
So in terms of cause and effect, what we basically mean is that from a cause comes a result, or a result comes from a particular cause. If we take the example of this flower, this yellow flower, for example, this yellow flower is the result of a seed for a yellow flower. A pink flower, the result of the seed for a yellow flower isn't a pink flower, and a pink flower doesn't result from a seed of a yellow flower. From the cause comes the result.
Teni tenji indi ta ngaso gyo ngaso gewa jabna teni korante lam jewa te dang japo yong gore japo kangre sina teni dewa yong gore teni gyo ngaso maggewa teni jabna teni korang la yong korang kan jewa daw korang dan japo teni jewa de korang kan japo jewa ta kangre sina teni dungmar ba res teni gewa la teni dewa jongwa ta teni dungmar la teni andi dupa marge wala teni dungmurun jongorese te ngaso mi mangboso ke le gimdezina pe nyokta chimbo ta teni tokkawa ndawo teni re teni samgo yore ta te tokkawa chiching marese te koram me tok dni ta gimdrin de la samlo ta na tenja bore te le jamba chang marese sama ngaso jikten ke khamla yopi rangshung ke chunit zegerese te rangshung kam sama teni chunit teni chik tokla korang teni ro yore pe na ngaso mi mala teni bogkena 먹게 그래 막 또더니 저 발랑자다 되니 키운자다 팡자 되니 깨면도와 되니 키다 파다 또솔라 저거 끼나 되니 키다 칩측다 파측다 되니 깨 그래 막 또 봤더니 문자다 되니 깨면도와 옛날 랑숑고 완듯이나 되니 옛날 다다 문 남기 때 야스노 마노신이 mam본 녀다 mam보 제거래 되나 또다 잠바래 코랑 랑숑고 완듯이나 미보이나 뭐연 바탕 되니 teni palang gap choga na palang yamba daw teni la teni gimje tang teni temjer zene nga so nangchu go na teni se yores.
So with cause and effect, when we put in place a positive cause, such as doing meritorious action or virtuous conduct, then this generates a corresponding result, and a result of happiness. The corresponding result of unvirtuous or negative action is suffering. So this is how cause and effect operate. Some people think that karmic cause and effect is a very very difficult, abstruse concept to understand, but in actual fact, it's not difficult at all. We can completely understand it by looking at the example of a flower. Cause and effect is nothing more than a natural law, the natural law of nature, and in fact everything follows this particular law. If we take the example of a human when it gives birth to a baby, gives birth to a human baby. It doesn't give birth to a baby cow or a baby dog. Similarly, when a cow or a dog give birth to a baby, they give birth to baby cows and dogs and not to humans. Of course, maybe there are some artificial interventions in these natural course of events, but in terms of how things operate in the natural world, this is how they are. And this is essentially the workings of cause and effect.
다 딘디 인디 딘디 짐제 때랑아 소테니 샤파 mambo 마짐니 다 딘디 임비 짐승 가레레제 딘디 샤파 점무 마짐니 셔당 라그름라보 라반라고 딘디 셰나 땡아 좀 소화가 나라 딘디 거르세 메톡라테니 메톡 사원라테니 메톡 케거레 게왈라테니 테니 테 데와 용거레 득발라테니 테니 데 등거리 용거레 어따테 코랑 짐제 흘와메 바지 테니 디 토니 코랑 Jitindigum, Jevitindy Younger, Namian Gerayo Marese, or Dangaso, Soagana Latindi, Shena, or that Jeti Latin, Jevit Younger, and the Koran Namian Gera, Koran, Tini Lua Mepa, or Tindizitilla, Legim Resegre, Tambuting, also Yapohako Gores.
So even without engaging in really detailed rational analysis, we can understand how cause and effect operate through just observing things in our life, like the fact that a flower grows from a seed, that happiness derives from positive and virtuous action, that suffering results from negative and unvirtuous action. This is the unfallible working of karmic cause and effect. It's a natural law and it never changes. It's unfallible. So this is what we first need to do, gain a proper understanding of cause and effect.
Tatini titola matongaso shapa majavni titoni jana tandriores ta gelatini driven jungorese ta dpalatini tini margiam jungu sambanda ndugore soaganala teka rangre tini devala gevala tini devam jungore metokosaunla tini te meton jungore shapa tele shapa mambo matangna ta korang ndugore korang tongbarese anda ta tongba marese anda o tini shapa matangna ta korang tini ranshung chunye grepe yakbonda o tini ndugore ta te korang jimsin yopanda o tini ndrugo ti toni jarjana tini tela legim de lo me pa zegres te ngaso sowa nang la enda pe karchim botin dizrez.
So without engaging in further rational analysis or investigation, just understanding it in terms of our ordinary lives, things that take place, the fact that effects result from causes, that happiness comes from positive action, that flowers come from seeds and so forth. This is a natural law, the unfallible workings of karmic cause and effect.
Tani tangaso titola te shapa jamnia ta kandireze tini ta gila tini njeun jongoreze kyoranso tini zendwa je kandirin je kandire ta tela tini kandin jongondo zene shapa te tangza bonda o yang kapse tani ta ngaranso tini zawani tini tanga zawani hamako wa tini sarwa tini mamboz tongba thola tini ha ko yongores.
However, if we go a bit further than this kind of understanding, if we probe further with our rational analysis to ask, okay, so you say that effects come from causes. Well, what kind of causes and what kind of effects? If we think about this more deeply, then we'll discover all kinds of new thoughts.
Teni kale tab depo rao sheni shana kandirizena tangaso 망촉 거나래와 가서 볼라 요비 값스티니 가서 미 망보 이나 다 라마초가 가서 티니 추소나 다 참마 금마 잡냥 그 마레지 티니 잡리 잡냥 그 마레 참마가 힘바트 소약 본동고 그래서 안라고 티니라고 마토 티니 땅자포시니 티니 송고요 마레지 티 무슨 김승 가레제나 김승 잠바요 마레 이나 가서 티미 망보 티니 르니 테티니 마몬다고 연 티니 빼 이게 신고요 마레 Tinti yendi yigi masiti tini ngaso tinti zammo tinti godatra gona pe khabore reze ti jimsenji 되는 가서 답 대본라고 신이 시작해요. 그래서 옛날 다르다 옛날 되는 가서 다 미망 보고 되니 머리가 부모이나 가서 링니 배 돈보 약보전도와 되니 대인디 당아서 동반이 그 돈다서 망속라더니 바로 고다잖아다. 인사를 삼바로 참아 람상 약보 하고 탑고요. 그래서
So the reason that in the past, when karmic cause and effect were explained to ordinary lay people, it was done in really simple terms, and emptiness was not explained in really deep and profound terms, was largely due to the fact that most lay people didn't have a very high level of education. They weren't literate, and therefore, in order to communicate on complex and profound topics such as this was not easy. And so that's why the explanations that were given were rather simple kinds of explanations. But these days, now that people are more educated and are literate, it is more easy to communicate about concepts like emptiness, and so that people can arrive at relatively easily at understandings of these concepts.
Teni tinji kapsa ngaso kanri songo yorezena ta li gimde ziate nduze nduta yena ta te ngaso matak mashe pazinanda pena mulum gana go teni jiftin rawo tinji mato ba ta korang nguni tani dembada teni chi teni nangyang teni demba yemba tinji shapa tangna yang demba yemba tinji li gimde yo mare sone tinji songores.
And so at this level of explanation, what we teach is that in terms of karmic cause and effect, that it is not as if that it is rather like in a dream state. It is not inherently true.
Teni tab depo shini shana ngazo nangchu nalazina njiktindo ngazo tata yopaga njiktindo 동고 토라 뎀바 마레인데 즘바 마토바 동고 토라 틴디 뎀바 은직틴 틴디 요 마레 소네 틴디 소요레스.
So just putting it simply, what we say in Buddhism is that this apparent phenomenal world in actual fact is not real, is in actuality false.
Tani ti kapsanga subi mambo te ko yak borak tab kamarse ta kandi 뎀바 마인바 kandi di chinde ngarang ko tanan ta jindu thongnan thong jindu lakba ragnan ragindu ताते देम्बा मना करेजे ते देम्बा मारिन तिनी जम्बा रेजे को ना थांगा चुचावने हाको मंदु सामने तनी तेदा इंसा मारे ता नांचु को नाला तिनी लबदा लबजंग दुता इना तेदा तिनी इंसा मारे राव तिनी सामनो तंगरेस.
But many people hearing this will not understand. They will think, well, how can this be? The water here, I can see it, I can touch it. How can it be that it isn't real, or it's not true, that it's false? So people might think, well, Buddhism says that objects or phenomena are not true or real, but in actual fact they are. So many people, due to their limited understanding, will think like this.
Teni re ngaranso chinde la teni tana takindu was chirindu wa re te nga cho mulum me kapse mulum ganang ga chila nga cho mukatana chinda po rendu wa ma to mulum ganang ga chite me ta wa tang sar ta wa ta dor ta wa teni re mendu wa se te dang teni mulum ganang la nga cho chite nga cho thongnan thongindu wa se ten thongindu ten thongwi kapse ya nga cho tarta chin thongwa ta chikpa chikyang ra wa teni yonggandu wa teni mulum ganang la yo pi me tina la nga cho lakba chigna nga cho lakba chawo teni yone 타나 락바가 돌아 마용 덴디스 상마 물음 덴디 용 찌그려와 덴디 인디 뜻소 참마가 저 따르다다 직바 직장라고 물음 거나라 되니 요레스 딘디 나랑 좀 통진도와 따진도와제 디드 김슨 지진로 말레스.
And whilst it is true that we do see this water here, we can see this water here, so too can we see water in a dream. Water in a dream is something that we can see. The water that we see in a dream doesn't appear as something else, as a stone or fire. And just the same as water, fire in a dream. Fire in a dream is also something that if we touch makes our hand feel hot, or even potentially burns our hand. So it's just as everything in the dream that we perceive is just the same as we perceive in our waking lives. So the fact that we can see see it alone doesn't establish its reality or truth.
Tani tinti na ta nga so tini ta chila tini thongjin dan do rakjin dan do tayan dan do tini ndua tini ti ta kariris tini ti zimbayin na korang tini tongbayin na mebayin na ngaran so ta na ta ji yo ragna ragjan thongya ti kariris na zi o tini kanti nga so nangchu kariris na o te nga so ko muk nga so lang gor tang yo res lakpa ga yang nga so lang gor tang yo res nawa ga yang nga so lang gor tang yo res oni tinti zi song res 이 값을 드니 가서 대대 인지 말에 나랑 조금 먹었다나 단 든지 그 덴바 든지 젠도 대단 고르지나가 짜와닝에 고알링 탑고 만두지니 든지 제그레스.
So how can it be then if this water that we can clearly see and this water that we can clearly touch how can it be that it's empty or false or not truly existent? And what Buddhism answers to this is that in actual fact our eyes are deceiving us. It is our hands that are deceiving us and our nose that are deceiving us. But of course many people hearing this would say, well, no, how can this be true? What our eyes see as real. People would find it very difficult to believe that these senses are in fact deceiving us.
Tani ngaso muk ngaso lang gorkor tanga yo ate lamsang ngaso hako res sama ngaso metok dni la tana lamsang hako re kama ni gna la ngaso hako thap res muk ngaso lang gorkor tanga yo ba.
But it's very easy for us to understand how it is that our eyes are deceiving us. Just by looking at these two flowers, within 2 minutes we will be able to understand the deception of our eyes.
Tani metokchita serborendu wase, metokchita marworendu wase, koranika tani katokla, tani khapartindizi yongandu wase. Marwo imbata, serwo imbata ngaso mukatana, gandhi kuni tanayang, the zimbarendu samba tsawani ngaso hako menduwa, teta uni tani dembare samba, the demba mayinada dembaz yo mare samba rawo, tindizi yongandu wase.
So here too we have a yellow flower and a red flower. They are both different in their colors. However, we look at these flowers with our eyes, we would never come to thinking that what we are seeing, the colors of these flowers, is false. We would never think this. We would always think that what we are seeing here, these two colors, are real and true.
Jete dongu tola tini metondo serwo tsawani mareze, korangla katok tsawani yo mareze metondela. Teni metondo maru tsawane ma korang la katok chigyang yo mareze. Oya. Teni maru mare sero ma teni karere ngai mukatana maru sero tongodo wazena. Teni tsaru pa chogozena te kyorang ka lapa na la yo reze greze. O servo te metok la yo mare kyorang lapa na la yo reze. Maru te di nge lapa na la yo pante korang maru ma yang mare sero yang mare chichu mare korang katok yo mareze. Teni nge tana marun tongodo zena te kyorang ka lapa na la yo reze. Tsanak pi tinti ze greze.
But in actual fact, this flower is not yellow, and that flower is not red. In fact, neither of these flowers have any color. And if they don't have any color, then what is the situation? What scientists tell us is that this experience or perception of color is a perception of the brain. Yellow does not exist externally in the flower. Red does not exist externally in the flower. All of these are essentially perceptions in the brain. This is what science tells us.
Tani tsarang pagasena, tani 메독레 직딘들라 때니 우부 강당 강라나 코랑 카톡 직경요 말해서 그래 카톡 요 말해서 때는 알아서 꿀라 카톡도와 마르운도와 문본도와 대가리즈나 아서 배나 샤자가나니 딱서라고 따는 코스 만보 거나 저거지 제때나 타망아마 대수 참마 결혼 갈라바가나란도지 결혼 것들이 랑랑 고거네 결혼 갈라바가나라 마로 임바데 결혼 때 마로레 삼근도 마톤도 나명 마로 마레즈니 딘디 랍거지.
So what science tells us that these colors, yellow and red, it's not just in terms of flowers, in terms of any object, these colors don't externally exist in objects. And so what science in fact tells us is that we are deceiving ourselves, that we constantly think that the color yellow that we see resides in external objects, but in actual fact it's a perception or an experience in our mind.
Teni titola kyoran so ngune chane samlo yakbo tangro chise. Ta nga so ndi khatuk te maru tang serwo te dong tola yo mare zina te nga so tsawani ko lenthap ko mendu waze. Rete ina te nga so ko malen ranglen reze. Te tindi yamba tsangrik gone teni rashtu tindi she tsar reze. Tindi yindi ta nga rang so te mare te zimbare tindi lapsa tsawani yo mare ta nga so ta yinsa resa nga rang so mendu jind mamu jind teni kelengo
So this is something that everyone really needs to think about. It's important, of course, we would just looking at it find it very difficult to accept or believe that this is the case. However, this isn't a matter of me just saying it. In fact, this has already been proven by science. So regardless of whether it's or not it's something that we currently understand, we have to accept that this is the way it is.
Tani nga so nangchu zina yang teze greze shlola yo mare ti kyorang ko gor kortang yo reze tani gari zina nga so nangchu zina lapa ga nala yo reze ga mare ze kana zina ta marbu ta sero ti kyorang shipa ga nala muk shipa ga nala yo reze kyorang muk shipa te tani marbu re sero re tani sam gndua te ma to yo mare ze tani nangchu tang char ni ka shlola marbu ta sero me pa te korang ni chik pa reze chi kya brio mare yinna 사는 그제나 라바가 나란딘 두세 가서 나추고제나 시바가 나란데 따때 따로 로카시가 나라 직바레 톱고요 말에 마음발라테 양치가 돌아 잡고 그랬어.
So that's what science says. What Buddhism says is similarly that color doesn't exist in the external world, that color is an example of self-deception. However, whereas science describes the image of color or the perception of color to arise in the brain, Buddhism describes this as an experience of the eye consciousness. So red and yellow, these are experiences or perceptions of the eye consciousness. In both cases, though, Buddhism and science, color is not believed to exist in the external world, but is considered to be an experience, a perception, whether it be of the mind or of the consciousness. So this is the difference between the two. Science considers it to be an image in the brain. Buddhism considers it to be a perception of the consciousness. For the time being, their explanations are different in this regard. It's possible that in the future their explanation might become unified.
Teni tinti indi ngaso tongbada temdrzeate pe ko alen laborese karezina metondo maro tan sero ngarang chola nangkendo waze ina tong tola maro sero marwaze tong tola katok menduwaze menduwa tela tongbaze yore katok tongbareze karezina katok yo marze tong tola yo sero yo mare maro yo tongbareze tela tongbaze kare teni temdir karezina 그랑 동거 돌아요 말이나 나는 거 먹고 나라 띵디즈 난건데 그죠 어디라 띵디즈 그래서 띵디즈라 동바당 띵디즈니 고알레나 당보 가서 총총 그 돈이 고알레나 되니 고아티 자치치치 당나 대야 보고 알렌탑 그래서.
So in actual fact, it's relatively easy from these examples for us to gain an understanding of emptiness and cause and effect, dependent origination. When we see something that is non-existent, then its non-existence is emptiness. So this is emptiness. When we see a flower that has a particular color, but in actual fact it doesn't have a color, then this is emptiness. With dependent origination, we can see it in this example too. So by starting off with understanding these concepts through small kind of examples like this, slowly we can grow our understanding to a greater level.
다가서 야타 마타 예타 용타치다 되는 알아서 년콜라요 바 상마 카톡 멘겐 공부 직접 민도와 상마 카톡 용케저와 어디서 상마 점바레 상마 알아서 걸걸단 거 대상지 좀 든데당 상급 바니까 다프트 제사서 가서 지질라वे요 말이죠. 오늘 내 자원이 클린 톱만 되지 나왔대. 결혼 개 말린 톱나 다른 깔리 결혼 삼로 땅단 그래서 대마도 결혼 들바지시요 말이야. 당연히 대하고 문득지 나왔다. 막고나 경고마 결혼 다른 삼로 땅고 다른 결혼 나와 가시 하나 로 가시라 삼로 땅 어따 결혼 다른 뒤수 요리 드니 마도 바잔 바지 결혼라 가게 용하다 대 말이 늘리래야 되지요 말이죠.
So if we look around ourselves now at our surroundings, there isn't anything that is not colored. Everything has a color. And yet all of these colors are not real. In all cases, our eyes or our brain is deceiving us. This is something that both Buddhism and science has verified. Whether or if this is something that for the time being you're not able to accept, then no problem. You can give it some more thought, whether that is over the coming months or over the coming years. Even though for the time being you might not be able to accept it, there is no justification, since it has already been proven, to completely negate or deny or to refute it.
어떠니다 가서라 똑바 지신로 그래 가서 똑바자니 다 든지 그 덴바 든지 때한테니 ngorkortan 거요나 더니다 참마 든지 맨로 삽니다 참마 나랑 그 묶은 통야 나랑 그 나와 더니 나랑 그 라바가야 나랑 그 찌그냐야 참마 든지 맨로 삽니다 대 말엔 더식보들이 마도 잠바다 참마 덴바리즈나 대가지 김슨 민도와 김슨 가리레 내용은 든지 그 덴반다온 통거다 이나 거나 점바린도와 잠바양 참마 맨로 삽니다 똑바지 신로 그래서 가서
So as a result of this, our doubts grow more. If we start off by realizing that our eyes are deceiving us, then we think, oh, could it be in fact that it's the case with everything? Everything that we hear with our ears, that we touch with our hand, that we taste with our tongue. And then we start to doubt whether by pursuing this kind of idea, then everything essentially will disappear. The reality of everything will disappear. So our doubt grows bigger in this way.
대이 값은 아주 볼라더니 카후이 천지 카 비치요래 대강에서나 대니 끌납 야은하니 직즈 배낭 아랑 그 잘라 야탐바 담다 나마나서 야탐바 냠도 버송나 대니 아랑 그 잘라 찌티 무스치 그 거요아더니 통송나 어다 아랑 그 잘라 티소나니 찍혀랑 낀도와 나랑 잠바테 소양한테니 결혼 거요사래 네 참마 냠도 버송더니 결혼 그 끈도 쌈니다 고난 똑바게 온 건데와 Tendra boshini tan denji mason par mukatana demba tindi te tindi zimbare sona te tsama zimbayan sarea samni tini ta tokba chishinro res.
So it's just like in Tibet there is a saying or there's a saying that when 100 things are stolen, then you blame it on the one person. So let's just say that 100 things are stolen from you and you see the person who took one thing, then because you saw them take one thing, you blame them for taking everything. And so in exactly the same way, if we first realize that what our eyes are telling us is false, is not true, then our doubt begins to grow that this is the case for many more things as well.
어떤지 지용디 되니 다 가서시 낭추고 나라치 다운디 다 렌도 오늘 렌도 다 가족직 보고 자금도 참마 된지 렌도 엄물름 따오 렌도 되니 삼바가 되니 참마 다소 가서 되니 추탐시 gemata malum tawo sone chu tamche sena ta nga chung bo mali yong su jok ba changma je gre da changma gemam khang ka tini shipi geman rawo ta tani malum rawo ta nguni rendu samban rawo tini kale nga chu koyong gres.
And this is just how it is. First, then we come to realize that it's not just for colors, but in actual fact, it's for everything. Everything is like a dream, illusory like a dream. When we speak of all phenomena, what we mean here is everything, all myriad things.
Then 남진이나 가서 다 닌지 가서 무그 원심제 그랬는데라 원심 등이랑 말본 통도와 대 말이 지나다 가랑 운이 장에 되니 결혼 같더니 다 강숑 망숑라고 시작한도 삼바라고 가서 되니 용건도와 된디 가자 미치고 나와랑 저 말인다고 삼용건도와 리트 옛나와 다 때가서 지지 라면도와 차르고 운이 디 람카 약보더니 시작을 차르고 낭출라 잡주르라 보래 실당 운이 장에 시작나 맞죠 나출라 차르고 잡주르시고 말이 차르글라 나추고 잡주르시고 마 소소소 람카 소소래 리티 있나요? 되니 관하니까 나라 되니 판선직을라 되니 직바래요 되니 멍부요래 되니 아주 배쇼 땅나베 약본도와 어떤 등아 좀 묶은 든지 그 덴반도 통근도 있나 관하 점바 있나 아따 때나다 참마 점바 있나 용 초사래 삼반도 가서 켈린 용근도와 대 만나다 가서 당보니 더다 싸와니 대 가와가서 그래. 대링이 묵었다나 무슨 든지 결랑 더 문득세 나다가 싸와니 그때 대는 나라니 갑다시야 문득세 나라니 다 갑다시 탐 문득 든지세 그래. 리때 갑다시 탐 메나야 또 우부 내서 든지제 다 거랑가서 내서 갈래 고용디 티니 다 든지 있나 오늘 창마 든지 있나 인 초초레도 산디 드링가서 다 심라 도바 끼니 드니 다 동바니 때 하고야 당len지하고 고스 말이야.
So if we start off with what we really we see in reality, then many people would say that because we really see these things, that it's nonsense to say that they don't exist. However, really we can't maintain this position because science has already verified that in fact the things that we think exist, color, in fact doesn't exist in the external world. So this is a case of science supporting Buddhism. Of course, Buddhism doesn't need science to prove it. They are their own separate paths, or they are their own separate disciplines. Nevertheless, there are commonalities and shared knowledge between the two, and it is fine to use science or appropriate science for the benefits in Buddhism. So and this is very useful because this helps people begin to be able to accept the possibility that perhaps those things that they perceive are in fact not real. There may be people who still find this very difficult to accept, just find themselves feeling that there's nothing more to say about this, they just simply can't accept it. But even though a person might say this, really this position is not tenable because it has already been proven. So when we start to gain a bit of understanding of this, when we start to entertain the possibility that things are not real, then we begin to gain an initial understanding of the meaning of emptiness.
어다 우부 네스르그 돌아든지 있나요? 가서 샤파 마땅나 페나 어다 메동달라 거랑가 카톡 마르오티 동거 돌아 요레다 나랑가 라바나라 요레 든진다고 삼로 마땅나 어다 메동데 거랑 마르오임 바제작지 파르자잖아 된 정도가 가서 메동 마르오리 아주 때란디나라 막가지요나 무 추착지요나 무 추소식 무 추소니레 띠따나요 때 마르오리 생케 마톤데 마르오 마리 생케 요 마레 다 틴디가 샤바 마땅네 데 라바나라 요레다 셈거 나라 요레다 무니 장네 거랑 마르오리 틴디가 삼론다고 마땅나 다 마르오리 때 거랑 드그레 틴딘다오리 가서 레짐데요 팀디르지 다 팀디르지야데 간디르지 르바가 삼론만 보마땅나 다레 데발라 텐니 온디 게발라 텐니 테니 데 데와 용거레 등머라 드발라 텐니 등머라 용거지 티토니 자나 거랑 아손 소화가나라 야보레 거랑 지직되니 교요 말에티 바로 저잖아 틴드그레티 테라 팀드르 메제 그레제 다 테랑 아초 니나니 탑데포 시니 정말 모스타파인 띵모네 자네 아랑 소테니 티토라 삼로탄 고제 시르탕티니 카토 요타 메제야테 테니 아초 테 차르크 나니 름바 펜 톰보즈 마레제 등아소 롭자위나 보초고 로름 죽바 아마레 로름 갸파타 로름 거와 티니 섭천나라 용큰거 딘디즈 레제 티 딘디리 리티 있나 티톨란데 삼로 즈모탄가 요 마레 미만보고 삼로 즈모탄가 베나 차르크 바소 거랑소 가톡다 요 마레 라바나라 요레지나 데다 인다 인제 거랑 테제 리티 있나 거랑가 돌로 가톡다 티니 테솔레용 거랑 페용 가보다 말가 용거 요레테 어떠니 참망 알아서 라바나라 요나티 교랑가리 고나 캬브르민두와 낙보교나 테레 tani ngombo kyuna te khabarmindu azina yang ti yang peshu tanglang jago mar nga chu nangchu nangla jimchen de yagboza hakoni sosorang ko nyummu bamme pa tola peshu tang yore zimba me pa tola tani charu pa ta ti su ndola tini jimjik jini yang nga chun chowa nangla charu ko thonji lokchin ramra ta tindi zoya ga tola samlo tangare ma to sosorang ko nyummu bamme ya ta zimba me pa tanga ta ti chu tola chawani peshu tang mare 르바치기나 베쇼 땅사 카카레스 땡디더니 베쇼 땅사 카카인 송디 더니 데인디 더니 양 거랑서 한만보자 하고 덮고요 말 ndala 땡닝우니리 소소랑 그 셈거나니 딘 좀바 메바치야다 소소랑 그 셈거나니 뉴모바 메바치야 딘디스 탑시즌 득삼바데 거랑서 하고요 말 거랑서 잠바치글라 삼로 땅지 마토 데리 더니 나추고 있나 tela samlo tani ta korang ko muyer ngoma de ngaso sem ko nani zamba me pa chia ta dinzin me ba tsame tanga ta nyumung ba tsame tanga tindi roa tere ma to teni dirchun chong chong chola nipa gandi chimbondo di ka ji go mambo sa thab kondo di gandi go teni khamba mambo torlak che thab kondo nangchu te samlo tanga mare korang di rigpa tela teni ngaso sosorang ko nyumung ba gandi me pa che thab kondo sosorang ko dinzin khongchu gandi me pa che thab kondo tindi gun dang jab kore teni dang jab sa kaka rin ro ndo tindi je te yin dang jab sa kaka yin rigpa chig rezi te pekar chimbore te nang에 다리 공라셔지 코랑 카톡 동거 돌아 메지야 되더니 코랑 셔당 흡슨 딜홈당 걸 홈마가 흡슨제 리티 딜라 틴니 낭추고 삼로 땅선라고 신니 삼로 땅우나 다 틴니 파르 삼로 땅디 따펠 삼로 몸보 땅아디 야신 보땅 하시고래 데 자르 바 코랑 테스 보마 또 장가 또 페쇼 땅거문도와 테 페쇼 땅거 메나 데 코랑 저 티 김선도 거래다 코나 코랑 저 셈나 지지 판거요 말이 데
So if we unless we investigate things firmly, then the flower that we see with our eyes is a red flower. Everybody who would look at this flower, no matter how many people we had here, tens of thousands of people looking at this flower would say that it is red. That is, if we don't push things further and rationally analyze things more deeply, then that's okay. We can remain at this level of understanding that this flower is red. And in a likewise way, in a similar way, if we have this level of understanding, then we can say that karmic cause and effect is true, that positive actions generate happiness, that negative actions generate suffering. However, this issue of color is one that everybody really needs to think about, even though it is a relatively basic level of scientific knowledge. It corresponds probably with the 8th grade or 9th grade scientific knowledge. It's something that if we think about, we can actually think about very deeply. It can bring us many insights. So scientists, of course, they understand that color doesn't externally reside in objects, and yet they still have great attachment to the color of their clothes, whereas Buddhists, understanding this to be the case, then become less attached, indifferent to the color of clothes. So we can see that the knowledge in question is the same. However, the uses that it's put to are different. For Buddhism, this particular knowledge is put to the use of reducing afflictions and reducing attachments. Yes, so with Buddhism, by no means the Buddhist purpose, as mentioned, is to reduce suffering, reduce afflictions, reduce attachment. Unlike science, it's not doesn't take this knowledge and seek to develop technologies to destroy people and destroy houses. So this is something that everybody really needs to pay attention to and think about, that even a relatively simple kind of scientific fact, by putting it to use in Buddhism and thinking about it really thoroughly and penetratingly, can result in vast conclusions. However, if people don't understand how to think about it or put it into use, then even this piece of knowledge, this intellectual understanding, will be of no benefit to the mind.
야, 되니 때 가서 대랑 거 되는데 람조 남바슴 그 롱당 되니 람조 남바슴 그 되니 치즈제 다 치팅 아주 승주 찌리찌리찌리가 내가 잡여 말이 능돈 될란 내가 잡더니 아주 디속 건당가 변도 된디 인디 대상 아주 대랑 추튼 니도와 디 추튼 담보가 능돈디 되레스.
So that is a transmission for the three principal aspects of the path. Today we had the transmission and also a teaching, an instruction on this text. The instruction that I gave wasn't a line-by-line, word-by-word instruction, but rather an overall treatment of the content. So that is our teaching for the first session today.